Remember, you can WhatsApp as well. So the numbers are to call in 0116 4822 086, or you can text or WhatsApp on 0774 8855 055. I'll give you that text number again. It's 0774 8855 055. So please do, text in, WhatsApp in, or if you want to call, then do ring us with any questions you might have for me about my role at Leicester City in the community, or about the Active Women programme. Or if you have any comments, you already know about the programme, or you haven't heard about the programme, then you can still call in and we can have a conversation about that. So I look forward to hearing from you. So welcome to all the listeners, to the viewers as well. We really want to share some of our journeys, and I think it's really important. And it's one of the things I really love about learning about other people's journeys, is how do we find out more about people, what their barriers might have been, also coming into a role, and also what they've really enjoyed. So I'm hoping to share that with you today. The other thing we've got is our competition. I mentioned it in the last two shows as well, so I'll mention it today. So if you attend one of our Leicester City in the community sessions before Eid, we would like you to mention that you've heard us on Ramadan Radio, and what we will do is we will enter you into the prize draw. And the prize is a signed football by the players from the first men's team. So why not come down? You can even come down to the radio and say you heard us if you really want to do. If you're nearby, you're near Evington Road, you can drop in and say, this is a show that I heard, it was good, or what we could improve. You can even tell me that. I'm quite happy for some constructive criticism as well. So pop by and get your names in for that prize draw. So let me tell you where sort of my role started with Leicester City in the community. So as I've said, I'm the Active Women Coordinator. I started in August last year, so I've been there nearly 9 months. I think what the really interesting thing about the role was, I never ever saw myself as being in a sporting role. So did I ever think I'd be working for a football club or for a charity that is attached to a football club? Actually, no. I never ever saw myself in that role. And maybe because, one, I wasn't really into sport. Sport wasn't really seen as something that I would be doing. And it always felt a little bit away from where I was at in life. It didn't really fit into my life. It wasn't part of my life. Didn't see the stadium as somewhere that I would be going or visiting. I'd never watched a football game in my life. So all of those things, it didn't really fit. So for me, it was like, this isn't me. This isn't part of me. This isn't, something that I can be a part of. So I never ever saw myself in that role. So I've had a really interesting journey over the last 18 months. And as I said, never expected that I would today be the Active Women Coordinator for Leicester City in the community. So where did it all start? I think for me, where sport started was when I was back at school. I used to do sports when I was at school. I don't ever remember doing football. I don't think football was an offer for the girls at the time when I was at school. But what I did like is that the energy that you got around sport. So doing netball, handball, basketball, those kind of sports I always took part in, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it was that kind of thrill, the exercise, the being active, and actually just being competitive as well, because I'm a fairly competitive person. So the people that know me, they know I'm a fairly competitive person. So actually for me, that was really an important part of sport, is not just winning, but actually that taking part in order to try and win, and winning as a team versus trying to win for yourself. So those of you that know me already know that I'm really passionate about community. I'm passionate about people, and it's always about bringing people together. So how do we do that, and how do we do that in sport? And I think when I was at school, that was a really important part for me, is how do we do that, where we bring people together and we also help others and bring them along too. And that sort of fits around my sort of leadership style as well, is bringing people together, leading people into different roles, different opportunities, and how that happens as well. So that's really good, how we can do that and support each other to be the best versions of ourselves, really. And it's really important, like, who do you support to meet their full potential? Who is it that's doing that? So post-COVID, I started up a Rounders group. So I had a lot of contact from women locally who now were sort of getting a little bit more confident about going out, wanted to be out and be active because we'd been at home for so long. They said, what can we do? And we had 2 Zoom meetings, and we got together collectively and we spoke about doing something at the park. And what came out of those 2 Zoom meetings was we wanted to do something that was active. We want to do something that's fun. What is it that we can do? And actually, what we decided to do was we ended up doing rounders in the park. So we met at local park, Spinney Hill Park, for those of you who are local to Leicester and know the park. And we met there every Friday morning, and we started a rounders group. And the passion and, the contentment that I saw in those ladies, it was just absolutely amazing. How content they felt on a Friday morning, getting out and just playing rounders. And the reason it was rounders, because some of you might be thinking, well, why rounders? Why not something else? Why not football? Why not cricket? Why not any other sport? Why not basketball? Well, actually, the reason it was rounders was because a lot of the ladies that I'd spoken to had said that rounders was something they remember playing at school and really enjoying. And I think for me, enjoying it was the main part. We'd just come out of COVID. We just spent a lot of time inside, isolated. A lot of people spent time on their own. A lot of people were working from home, so didn't really interact with anybody else. So what was really important is how do we get out there and how do we actually interact with each other and have fun. So for us, Rounders was that. It was a Friday morning, getting together with other women and just having fun. So that's where it all started. So that was back in May 2021. So that's quite a while ago now. So we're coming up to nearly 2 years. And for me, what was really important about that time was how do we try and build this kind of sense of belonging? We'd lost something. We'd lost this kind of partnership, this togetherness. And how did we bring that back? And we saw that on the Fridays, as the group got bigger and we had more ladies attend, it did start to become that kind of group of we are together. It was starting to become like it was family. And I think that's really, really lovely. So just before I carry on, I would like you to, if you already know about the program, if you've been part of the Rounders group from, back in 2021, do get in touch with us. Tell us a little bit more. Tell the listeners out there, the viewers out there, what is it that you really enjoyed about the Rounders? So the number to call, if you want to ring in, is 0116 4822 086. And if you want to text or WhatsApp, then the number is 077 488 55055. So please do get in touch and also share your part of the journey with us on this. And if you're also part of Active Women Programme, then do let us know why. What is it that the Active Women Programme brings to you? And what is it that you either like or love about it? And do you feel that sense of belonging? Do you feel what we've always tried to, share and be a part of is we're all in this together and we can all make things happen as long as we're together. So do you feel a sense of that? So let me tell you a little bit about my previous jobs. So what did I used to do? So I said to you that I don't do sports. Sports wasn't my thing. I'd never done sport, but I have worked from a very young age. So I started working at the age of 15, and I really enjoy working. And the reason I enjoy working is you get to meet loads of different people. You actually learn so many different skills, but also with that comes so many new opportunities. And I think that definitely more recently, I've had some opportunities that I maybe never would have had if I wasn't in this role. But even before that, I've had opportunities to do things which I've absolutely loved. So I started off working in catering. That's where I started. It was kind of natural for that to happen as my dad was a restaurateur. So he was in the catering business. That's what he did. That's what we knew. And we supported him with his business as well. So we learnt the skills of engaging with people, hosting people and looking after people. And the best way to do that was through food. And we learnt those skills through Dad. So really, really appreciate having the opportunity and having Dad's business to learn those initial life skills that have taken me through and helped me right up until today. So thank you to Dad. And obviously a thank you to Mum today as well, because without Mum, Dad wouldn't be able to do all the things that he did, but we as children as well wouldn't have been where we are today. So shout out to all parents. Anybody else who wants to shout out to their parents or anybody in their family, again, text or WhatsApp in. So going from my catering roles, I went into schools. So in 2010, I went into a school role as a learning support assistant. And whilst I worked there for 5 years, I started to do other roles as well. And I left there as an assistant head of year 10. And I really enjoyed my time at the school. It was a secondary school, all boys. And I worked with some really, really amazing children, but I also worked with some amazing staff. And I learned so much about education, but I also learned so much about myself and actually who was I And what was it that I really stood for? And I think at that time, my values and the beliefs that I had, all of them were incorporated into one role. Moving on from there, as I left the education world, I came out of there wanting to do so much more. And I was like, what is it? What's missing? There was definitely something missing. There was something that I felt like we needed more of. The care and compassion and the empathy that I felt towards the children that I had worked with, towards the staff who I worked with as well, and to the staff who worked for me, there was something there that I felt that I hadn't felt before. And I was trying to understand for myself, what is that? What is it that I feel? What is it that I'm, sort of missing? Is there something more I could be doing? So, for me, I went on this journey, and I would say it's a personal journey, but the journey for me was when you show somebody some empathy and they show you empathy, there's quite a different connection there. And I wanted to do something where empathy was at its core. I wanted to do something where I would use empathy in my everyday, and I'd be able to use that for positive change in our community. And what I went on to do was actually to study. I hadn't studied, I'd left school at 16. So I told you I started working from around the age of 15. And I started to work, and I've had, different jobs in different areas, but I didn't study. I left school at 16. So I decided, what, I actually want to study. I do miss that part. I haven't studied, and there's something I really want to do. And what I decided to do was study to become a counsellor. Now, being a therapist was a space where I could use that empathy I just talked about, that care and compassion. Where is it? Where is it in the community? Where is it in the families that we live in? Where is it in those friendships that we have? And for all your relationships that you'll find there'll be empathy in the relationships that you really like and that you pursue. Because when you're shown empathy, or you show empathy, the relationships have a deeper level and they have a deeper strength. So I started to study as a counsellor, and I actually qualified in June last year. So after 4 years of study, I qualified. And I think for me, using those counselling skills and using all those things post-COVID really came to help. So when I started the Rounders Group, it was all these things that I had learned as a counsellor that actually supported me. We were supporting people with not only their physical health, but with their mental health as well. And what we found is that people needed to be socially active before they could be physically active. And to allow people to be socially active, you have to allow them to be a part of something. And that's what we had created. So again, this is all leading up to, the role that I do today. And at that time when I did the Rounders, again, I didn't see myself as somebody in sport. I didn't see myself as somebody who would ever be in a role where I would be promoting sport to others. For me, the promotion I always did in community was bringing people together, supporting those who maybe were less fortunate, or to help those out who were just going through a difficult time. They were the kind of things that I wanted to do all the time, and I did not realize that my active women role could be that as well. So some of the barriers that I found a lot of the women faced, and this is part of from the Rounders Group leading up to now, but even before that, just working with a lot of women in communities, just generally supporting other people, supporting families, I found that there was a lot of barriers. But the barriers to sport were different. The barriers to sport were different because there was already this kind of idea in society that women don't need to do sport, they don't have to do sport, and sport isn't for women, so why would they want to be involved? So the provision wasn't really there. So there are women in sport, and there were women in sport before this as well. But what we found is at a community level, sport wasn't really accessible, and it definitely wasn't accessible to all. So one of the barriers that, the women faced was lack of time, supporting their young families, helping out around the house, or having jobs and not being able to actually get out and do sport because they didn't have the time for it. Some women who had young children and were at home, they found that actually they were stuck at home and they couldn't actually do anything because they had young children and they didn't have anyone to leave them with, and they couldn't take their children with them to take part in sport. So that also became a barrier. And these are the kind of things that we need to think about. So when we're offering a service to communities, especially to women, are we looking at some of the barriers that they face? Are we thinking about those things? So the other thing that was a barrier was lack of funds, not having the funding available for the access to sport, but also just generally people not having enough money to pay for a sports session. So there's lots of sports sessions that go on. A lot of them, they happen, they charge. Even if it's a small amount, some people just can't afford it. And we talk about the cost of living crisis all the time. We know things are getting more and more difficult. So even a £1 session or a £2 session does become really difficult. So it's really important that when we're offering services, if we have the funding, that we offer those services free to the community, but we also look at sustainability and how can we make sure that these things carry on. So when I'm no longer the Active Women Coordinator and I'm no longer in this role, or this project comes to an end after the 5 years, who else is going to carry this on, and how are women still going to remain active? So one of the other barriers I want to talk to you about, and this is something that a lot of women talk to me about, is they've just never had an interest in sport. I talk to people and they'll ask me what I do. So they see me in my, Leicester City Football Club kit. I walk around Leicester. I'll be out and about in community. And people, the first question is, do you work for Leicester City Football Club? And when I explain to them I work for Leicester City in the community, which is the charity arm of the football club, they want to know more. They want to ask. Because they start to see that, does that mean that that can be us as well? Can we be a part of that? And that's a really nice feeling, and it's really good to be able to represent other women and be a part of a community that can see me as somebody that they aspire to be, or to be a part of the program that we are leading, the program that we want to promote. But not having that interest, how do we build interest then in people? So how have we done that? So Active Women, how's that happened? That hasn't just happened with me on my own. I'm the Active Women Coordinator, and I've gone out and told people we have an opportunity to now get involved in sport, and that's what they've done. They've actually had to think about, what is it that they really want? We've had to think about, what is it that people want? So we ask the questions, we have the conversations. So it's really, really important that we are talking to people and we're always asking them, what is it that you want? Just before I carry on, I've not had any text messages. I haven't had any calls. Maybe people are still sleeping. I get that people are off work. It's holiday season, but there'll be people listening out there. So for those of you who are wide awake and listening, or maybe still in bed with your duvets, do please either call in or text in. And remember, you can WhatsApp too. So to call in, it's 0116 4822 086. And to text, it's 077 488 55055. And if you want to WhatsApp, that's absolutely fine. I love WhatsApp. I'm a WhatsApp person. I WhatsApp everybody, everything and anything. So we really, really should be doing that more. So I think we might have our first message. Wow, look at that. See? I knew there was somebody listening out there. Thank you very much for this message. So it says, thank you for sharing. They are a very valuable experiment. We are listening and you are amazing. Thank you very much to whoever sent that message in. Really happy to know that you're listening, and thank you very much for your comments. So absolutely, a valuable experiment. I like that. And that's what we're doing all the time. We're always experimenting because we're always experiencing life. Oh, we have a call. How exciting. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Rukhsana.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. So since you said, okay, even if you're in your bed under your covers, call in. So
There
I'm
you go.
calling in.
Thank you very much for calling in, and thank you for joining us. So what would you like to share with us today?
Okay, so Rukhsana, I've been listening really, really hard to every word, and I'm like on the edge of my mattress on my bed here. And mashallah, I just want to share my story, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
With Leicester City in the community. So you know who you're talking to?
I absolutely know. I didn't want to say your name in case you didn't want me to share it, but if you're happy for me to share, then I can tell the listeners who you are.
Sure you can.
Right, so this is Aisha who's joined us this morning, and Aisha was our winner for Active Women 2022. So we absolutely welcome Aisha, and I know that the reason that she's called in and wants to share her journey is she's always inspiring others, and I hope by listening to her story this morning, she will inspire you if you haven't already been inspired.
Okay, Rukhsana, thank you so much for doing this show and getting this message out to the people and to the women, because as you know, my passion is to help and support all women like yourself. And you've been talking about the care, compassion, consideration, empathy for others. And, it's always our intention, that if we do for the pleasure of Allah, and to help others, we're actually helping ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we are pleasing Allah by helping His creation. And for those of us who've been through, very, very difficult times in life and have struggled and have come through and know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And those of us like myself who live for the moment. So I believe this is the way to live in the moment, cherish every moment that you have, and just, live for the day, live one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you was playing rounders on the park, so that's how I got involved with Leicester City in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I know yourself and many others, through the community, through my work as, with Sisters for Islam. And so, Alhamdulillah, I'm a runner. I've been running for 4 years now, mashallah. I started my running journey through Slimming World.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady there who facilitated the Couch to 5K program training, and I got involved. And activity is for all people, regardless of your ability, or your size, your shape,
Mm-hmm.
your color, your type of hair, anything, your dress code, disability. There is, you can get involved at whatever level you're at. So, as usual, running through Spinney Hill Park, and I saw your ladies playing rounders.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of my personality, my nature, I'm very friendly, and I just go up and talk to anybody and everybody.
Yep.
So I says, "Oh, can I join in? Can I play?" And you're all so welcoming, so friendly. So that's it. So that's where my journey started with Leicester City in the community. I joined in with the rounders, which was just amazing. Just being outdoor in the open air, playing out, just looking at the sky, the trees,
Mm-hmm.
So this was so good for my mental well being. So, my main reason for being active, which is one of the 5 ways of well-being,
Mm-hmm.
is for my mental well-being. So then I carried on, and I remember we played basketball, we played handball at SNS. So I just joined you all, like a groupie, followed you everywhere, did all the games, all the activities, all the sports.
Mm-hmm.
Never liked football, but I've played football.
You have. You've played
And
football on more than one occasion as well, haven't you, Aisha? You play football every week now, don't you?
yes, I built my confidence. So it was about building your confidence, building your self-esteem, and it's okay. I play a little, I dabble with football.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me, it's not about the football. It's about connecting with other women, being with other people. So again, connecting with others is one of the 5 ways of well-being. And I'm just dropping it here, the 5 ways of
Mm-hmm.
well-being. And with what we're involved with sports, it covers all of it. Um, and we're connecting with other ladies, like-minded people, and
Yeah.
we learn from one another, we support one another, we hear each other's stories, and we're there for each other. It's such a safe space for all women.
Yeah.
Um,
So if I
and
was to
then
ask
let's
you a
just,
question, Aisha, because I know you've been with the program right from the start, and you've also been with us with the rounders. If there's somebody listening out there today, there's a woman listening, thinking, you know what, I get they're all doing that. I get they're saying there's this kind of feeling of family. There's a sense of belonging they feel. But how do I get involved? Or I don't know if I'm ready. What advice would you give to that person who's listening out there today?
I would say, think about what you want, think about how you're feeling and what's going to make you feel better about yourself, how it's going to build you,
Mm-hmm.
make you stronger, improve your health, your well being, and how you're then able to help the people that you love and you care about,
Brilliant.
and how you can give back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just have a go. If it's something you don't like, if it's something you don't enjoy, don't come back again. Or say what you like, say what you don't like. Um, but honestly, it's just so welcoming, so friendly. You'll have fun. It's all about fun. It's all about enjoyment. So then, Rukhsana, as you know, Leicester City and the community, they supported me. So they will support you in whatever they see. If they see, you've got certain talents, skills,
Hmm.
interests, whatever you're enjoying, they will help you, they will support you. So um, you all helped me to get my LERF qualification, which was the lead in running and fitness.
Hmm.
But this is something I was already doing beforehand. So Alhamdulillah, you've helped me, and I am a lead in running and fitness, and I
And what will you
myself
be doing
run.
straight after Ramadan? Would you like to tell the listeners and the viewers out there what is it that you're going to be doing now in the next coming weeks?
Yes, so I'm training a group of ladies to do Couch to 5K.
Hmm.
So it's a 9-week program, and it's 3 times a week. And but the places for this program on Monday, starting Monday, the 24th of April, have already been filled in. So you could mention, I don't know if you can, Rukhsana, that it's with this girl Can,
Hmm.
and it's together we can, or whatever that organization is.
Hmm.
But I myself have run 2 programs before, and 4 of my other ladies, mashallah, after doing the 5K, which I thought was,
Hmm.
I could never do, because I could only move from my sofa to my front door
Hmm.
to my car. Never in a million years did I ever think I could run. And running is sometimes like a scary word. So you don't have to run. You can power walk.
Yeah,
It's for all abilities. And so 4 of my other ladies, mashallah. So we did the 10K.
you did. Yes, I
Um,
remember I was there. I watched you do that and I
yeah,
watched you end at the finish line. So,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely well done to all 5 of you who took part in that. But again,
Oh,
that was a
mashallah.
success, wasn't it, of the Couch to 5K and supporting those women through what you did.
Yes,
And I think it's really
yes.
important, isn't it, that we remember that this is what it's about. So, thank you, Aisha, for calling in and sharing part of your journey with us. Um,
Oh,
keep on listening. I know you're still in bed, but do listen. Keep on listening, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. And I look forward to seeing you.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Allah give you success from success.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So we have another text message. So I'll just read this message out. So it says, "Hi Rukhsana, it's Devinda. Your Active Women program is brilliant to get the ladies out and about. So come ladies, join us on the various activities available. And remember, it's free. I never did any sport activities until this. Not competitive. It's easy on everyone. Thank you." So that's really good to see. So thank you, Devinda, for your message. And absolutely, Devinda's there saying another example of how she's done something where she never ever saw herself active in sport, and actually she's doing it. She's doing it now. We have another message. It says, "Assalamu alaikum, Rookie. Listening to your experience, your journey makes me proud to know you. I know you have had many challenges on your journey, but you have continued to break those barriers and keep going. I feel that you bring a lot in your role as you promote everything with a lot of empathy, not only as a trained counsellor, but you yourself always put your 100% into everything you do." Asma. So thank you very much, Asma, for that. I really, really appreciate that. And again, when you know people outside of the role that you do, so not just your day job, but outside of that as well, it's really, really good to see and hear as well from them. So thank you for that, Asma. Oh, we have another message. So we have another message. It says, "Very proud of Aisha. She is extremely inspirational and caring, always sharing all things well-being. I feel very honored to be part of her journey. Thanks, Aisha, for being you. Love from Aura." So there's one there for you, Aisha. I hope you're still listening. And that was dedicated to you from Aura, one of our coaches. And again, we have to say this is a joint effort. So it's the participants that come to our program. It's the coaches that deliver our program. It's me as the coordinator who tries to support everyone and brings people together. And it's also the strategic lead, Sarah, who also guides us all the time and supports everything that we want to do with the program. So thank you to everybody who's texted in so far. Remember, you can text in, you can call in as well. So if you'd like to, then text in on 077 488 55055 or call in on 0116 4822 086. So I was talking about the barriers that women face and some of the challenges that maybe they have when they want to try and get into sports and are not able to. So one of the other barriers, I think, are the cultural barriers we might face. So culturally, sport may not be seen as something that women do. Sometimes in cultures there's different roles, so it's role specific. Men do certain things, women do certain things. And sport hasn't come up in their life or just hasn't been something they've done. They may not have been born in this country, but they live here now. And in their country, they may not have done sports as a child either. They may have done sport as a child in their home country, but then when they come here, sport isn't accessible to them, or their life changes and they're doing different things and their responsibilities are different, and therefore that doesn't become something that they do. So it's really interesting, but we have to understand that every culture is different. Every culture has its own reasons why or why not people do sport. So we have to understand that this is one of the things that may become a challenge for some women. And actually some cultures actually promote sport for women and men. And how do those women actually find things that they can actually do, have access to, and become professionals in the sports of their choice? So if they do want to do sport, is there enough accessibility? Is there enough programs out there for them to actually join us? So we have to remember, what is it that they should be doing and what is it that they could be doing? And if you know about a program or project out there and you know that somebody's got an interest, how are you getting them connected with the right people for the right opportunity for them? So I think we have another message. So this message says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're well, Rukhsana. I can vouch for your work. It's made such a huge impact on my mother's life. Allahumma barik. I hope you are blessed abundantly. Ameen. P.S. Thank you so much for supporting and helping Waves of Positivity. So thank you so much. It's really nice to get that message. And I think the reason I like that message is two reasons, really. Because one is from somebody's son. He's writing about his mum and the impact the program has had on his mum. And the other thing is that he's actually, really promoting what we do, but reminding us that this program is not age limited. It's his mum that comes to our program, and he knows about it, and he can see the impact of that. And I think that we have to really remember that when we talk about this sense of belonging and we talk about this family feeling that we get when we're together, this is what we're talking about. It's something that women haven't had in Leicester. They've not had these opportunities, and when they come to Active Women, they feel a part of something, a part of this team. Active Women is theirs. It's not mine. It's not Leicester City in the communities. It's everybody's. Active Women program is for the women that are part of it. And I absolutely love that message. And yes, it's making me a little bit emotional. I know I'm not going to cry because I know there's people watching out there. So I'll laugh and smile instead. Just knowing that it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this program and to make that difference for communities. So I've been talking about the barriers, and there are many barriers. And I don't want to just concentrate on barriers because we're going to be short of time if I just carried on talking about barriers. I'd like to talk a little bit about the more positive things. So there's some solutions to some of the barriers that women face. And we have to look at these solutions in order to deliver a program. And Leicester City do this really well. And the reason that I decided to actually join Leicester City is because the values that they show are the values that I actually really, really believe are part of who I am. To engage, to inspire, to empower, through togetherness and pride and respect. All of these words, when I heard them and I see them around, I think, yeah, that's me. They're the kind of things I talk about all the time. We absolutely need to inspire other people. We all have something in us that we can gift to somebody else, and it costs nothing to share your gift. I love to engage with other people. I love talking, you can tell. That's why I've got my own show. I'm sitting here talking to you. Excuse me. We love to support each other, and we have to empower each other. You can't become a leader if you can't take people with you. And for me, I was given the community leader title a few years ago, about 7 years ago. Community champion, community leader, community activist. The reason I have that is because I want to bring people with me. I don't want to leave anyone behind. I have no interest in getting to the top and then looking from there down and saying, oh, I think I'm on my own. We have to support each other and we have to be there. And there's some solutions to some of these barriers that women face. And I want people that are listening out there that may be already running programs or would like to run programs to think about these kind of things. Can we provide a creche facility for women who've got young children who can't access a physical activity because of those young children, because she doesn't have anyone to look after them? Can we offer sessions in venues that are nearby so they don't have to travel to buses or get a taxi or walk for half an hour to get to a venue? Because this is what we offer as the Active Women Programme. And the reason the programme has been successful is because of this. We've had a look at the barriers, we've discussed the barriers with our participants, and we've asked them what is it they need. And we try and offer them what it is that we can, and anything that we can't offer, we look for solutions within ourselves, within the organisation, to see how we can make that happen. Not everything is about money, and not everything is about funding. Most of it is about listening. And are we listening to people and finding out what they really want and need? And then are we making that happen? And I think my role as the Active Women Coordinator is to be that bridge between the community and Leicester City in the community as an organisation. Is how do I engage with participants? How do I engage with the community? How do we engage with our consortium members? And how do we ask them what they want? Some things we need. They're things that we just have to have. But there's some things that we actually want, and we should have a choice. And when we don't get a choice, it becomes really difficult. So how do we make sure that that happens? That's my role, is to make sure that we try and offer to people what it is that they actually want. And therefore, they're going to enjoy it because it's something they wanted. And we can make that happen. I think we have to think about safety as well. When we're looking at women and women's projects, we have to think about their safety. How are they going to get to the venue? What time is our session going to be? Always think about those things when you're trying to run a project or you want to do something, because it's really important. We also need to think about advertising. So I talked about WhatsApp earlier because I love WhatsApp. I'll share anything through WhatsApp. If I've got your number, you're probably going to get more WhatsApp messages from me than anything else. I'm probably not going to ring you much because I haven't got the time. I'm probably not going to send you a text. I might connect with you on social media, but actually a WhatsApp message does the job. And I think that if we use WhatsApp properly, and if we use it, we can use it in that way to communicate with lots of people. So how is it that we're communicating with each other? How easy do we find communication? If that isn't the right communication, we need to look for another way. So we have people in Leicester where English is not their first language. How do we communicate with them? Can we get things translated? Can we use an interpreter? I can speak other languages as well, so I don't only speak English. So can I talk to somebody and explain to them in their own language, what is it that we're doing and how are we doing it? So can we do that? Of course we can. And the biggest thing I want to sort of leave you with today is role models. Who are your role models? Who are the people that you look up to? Who are the people that you see? So we had Aisha, she rang in and she was talking about her journey. But she said that it was the coaches, it was the people, they helped her. She might see them as role models. She might see them as influencers. She might see them as those people that supported her when she needed it. But who are your role models? Who are the people that support you? And what is it that you need from them? Is it time? Is it that empathy, that care and compassion we spoke about? What is it that you need from them? And we really have to understand what it is. You have to understand what it is. But together we can make it happen. I think because we only have a few minutes left, if anybody else would like to call in or text in, then please do. We've got about 5 minutes. I'd love to take another call, or just if you want to send a text in, I'd love to read out your text or your WhatsApp. So remember, the number for text or WhatsApp is 0774 8855 055. So do text in your final messages if you would like to. So I think what I want to finish with now is that we need to be all-inclusive. And some of the things that the ladies messaged in about, some of the things that Aisha was saying was about that. It's how do we make it all inclusive and we include everybody. We have another message, so I'm just going to come to this message. It says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I missed a lot of the show today, but I would like to speak. Okay, I think I was reading out the wrong message. Let's start again. This happens. We all make mistakes. And that is part of also what we're learning today, is that if we make mistakes, that's okay. You know, we shouldn't be ashamed of that. So the message is, empowered women empower women, and good leaders build stronger, better leaders. Breaking down barriers and people-led, not service-led. Really, really important. Thank you for that message. Absolutely. It's people-led. What do people want? It's not service-led. We're not hard to reach communities. We're not hard to reach people. We are the community. We are the people. We just need to know, and we need to have those conversations. So Leicester City and Community has embedded equality and diversity and inclusion. Right, we have a call. So I'm going to take the call just because we only have a few minutes left. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, Rukhsana. It's Kamla here. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Kamla? You okay?
Hi. I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for giving me a little bit of airtime.
No, that's
just
okay.
wanted to mention, stop me if it's not appropriate, but I just wanted to mention the fact that, you know, we all met together at Wesley Hall, and how when we are given the opportunity that, you know, a vast majority were women there, and how we can create a beautiful collaborative atmosphere, and how we can move forward from what we held at Wesley Hall. And I'm very interested in looking at how Leicester City and the Community and the charitable organization, the Royal charitable organization called Football for Peace, and connecting up with the owners of LCFC in actually moving things forward based on what we discussed at Wesley Hall. And
absolutely.
Whether, you know,
yeah. So the mapping event is what you're talking about, aren't you, Kamla, which you had organised. Right. And absolutely, I agree with you. It was amazing because there was a lot of women representing the community there, weren't there?
That's right. And such a variety of people as well. And, you know, we really don't want to lose that momentum. And I think we can do with us all working together and connecting with the leaders in Leicester. So we are now moving forward with meetings and trying to get the idea moved. So there's Leicester City Council talking to the Canals and Rivers Trust, and we're talking to the DNU. And then what I would love to do is to connect with the owners of LCFC, because I believe that their ethos is very much related to what the project idea we shared on the day from COS's perspective. And I think we really can put Leicester on the global map.
I agree, absolutely. And I think that what I'm going to say to you is tune in next week, because we have Alison with us next week, Alison Tripney, who is the head of community for Leicester City and the Community. So she's going to be joining us next week. And what will be really good is we could get you connected. But listening to us next week, listening to what Alison has to say, and I'm sure everything that she says will be all the things that you're talking about, and all the work that you're doing will align with us as well. So absolutely, this doesn't end here. This carries on. So thank you very much, and we look forward to that collaboration. Thank you, Kamla, for your call.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And you.
Thank you. So we're going to finish here, and what I'd like to finish with is, so you have been listening to me, Rukhsana Hussain, from Leicester City and the Community, but I'd just like to just share with you that Ramadan FM is supporting Leicester Hospital's charity this year, and they want to create a spiritual care centre at the Leicester Royal Infirmary. This space is going to be used by hospital staff, patients and the community as a place to reflect, pray, forming part of the healing process for our community. So I'd like you to support this fundraising appeal. So you can go on the Just Giving page. It's justgiving.com/page/Ramadan Radio 2023. Please do support them, and please